Alright, Robotic Soul. Well, I don't care, I'm gonna put it up right now. Or remove it right now. There, now it's not gonna be up. So we're good. This one I didn't take notes on, so let's put that notebook away. We have Cold Scars playing as our Terran player. At the bottom right hand position as our Reds, or Red Protoss, or Red, darn it, Terran player. I'm just not thinking straight anymore because of that mishap. I'm just whatever. But Robotic Soul is our submitter, so we're going to be looking at it from Protoss side of things. We just did a Terran against Protoss. Now we're going to do a Protoss against Terran. So, once again, no notes on this one, so bear with me. You guys can tell me how good I did, how bad I did. I'm going to just put it on as view for now, just watch what's going on. We'll put it on ×2 for this early little bits. Shiz bits. And while he's doing some scouting, he's got the pylon up. For the record, you don't have to wall in as Protoss against Terran. You can if you want to hide certain things. I mean, I guess if you want that Zon out there, the SV is still going to be able to get in there, so I mean, it's not going to help in that regard. Tanks can still bust it. I mean, it really just helps against Hellions. And of course, Hellions could still be dropped in your base, so I mean, it really doesn't help all that much. So I like this a little bit better than the wall in. So he's putting down that gateway assimilator at a good time. And well, Terran's just adding on the barracks and now a refinery. So standard play all around, all that good stuff. We're on ×2. Another pylon. Let's see. Pylon's at a good time. It could have been like a second later, but I mean, I'm not going to be picky about that. I mean, the idea is you want to have it done like exactly when that probe's like coming out, but I mean, we're not Grandmaster level here. I mean, even at the Grandmaster level, that'd be like ridiculous. It's like, do it perfectly every time. Whoops. Alright, so he has a Cybernetics going up, a Zealot's coming out, and another pylon. Very good timings on your pylons, Mr. Soul. I had to check again to see if my... Okay, good. The overlay is gone. Antigua Shipyard, this is the map. That is the map, I should say. There's a probe at the watchtower, very good. Now, of course, Terran could cut down through the middle center here by the gold, so I mean, I don't know. Watchtower's still good, it's better than having a guy, like, if you have only one guy for out here, then yeah, keep him at the watchtower, so that's good. SV is leaving. He got his second assimilator. Okay. So, I mean, this one's basically about trying to bust Terran. Now, busting Terran is... like, Terran's the hardest race to bust. I don't care if you're Zerg, Protoss, or another Terran. It's hardest to bust Terran because of those tanks. And because bunkers get repaired and that sucks to deal with as well, so... generally speaking, you don't want to bust Terran, but there are certain situations when you do. You know, especially as Protoss, if, you know, you don't want Terran to just get away with everything. You don't want him to get away with like 4 command centers instead of a barracks. You know, you gotta want to get in there at some point. So it looks like you're getting a Nexus at a pretty good time. Let's see, what is your opponent doing? He's just about to start on his expansion. You do want to be careful about that, just because if Cold Sores or Scars decided to add on a bunch of barracks instead, then this Nexus is not going to survive. Just say maybe scout a little bit. I don't know, maybe you know something about it that I don't. Like, I mean, I guess you were in there long enough to see that there's only one barracks, so I guess that's a good indicator that there is going to be an expansion. But yeah, just be careful, because I mean, if you don't know that scouting information, you can't really just expand like that, because he's just going to kill you. Again, mainly because Protoss has big, beefy armies. Yeah, actually, you added on a robotics facility at the same time. That's actually deadly. That would be the end of the game if he attacked. So, I mean, if you saw something with that scout, then yeah, that's fine. If you didn't, don't do this, because that's just going to, like, that's like rolling the dice. Like, okay, is my opponent expanding? I don't know. I'm just going to do this and hope he doesn't come in here and kill me. And hopefully we have better play than that. And, well, on this show, we do want everybody to be that kind of gamer, the better gamer, instead of the bad, I'm gonna all in you every single time type of gamer. You know, that's just... I don't know, for a lot of players it's not as fun. For me, I don't really care, because it's kind of like, okay, I'm just going to win. Awesome. You gave me the game for free. Awesome. hopefully sooner or later you guys are at that point as well, where you just say, okay, if you're gonna cannon rush me, cool. That's awesome. That's a free win, man. That's awesome. But anyways, Robotic Soul getting a good time on that Immortal. So yeah, any attack that would happen right now from Terran would be death for Terran. So yeah, you have the expansion up sooner, which is like, I mean, if you're able to get up the expansion before he actually gets up his expansion, and you know for sure 100% that he's getting up his expansion, then yeah, this is an awesome play. Like just to be able to get up an expansion before Terran as Protoss is gonna be awesome, because once again, Protoss is the big beefy unit, or beefy race, the strong slow push race that cannot expand a lot, I should say. Whereas Terran, if you go in infantry, then you're the race that should be expanding a lot against your opponent. Now, of course, if you're going tanks or 1-1-1 or whatever, you can't really expand a ton, but I mean, it's just kind of like, you know, since you have weaker units, like you're getting barracks units, so you can afford a lot of expansions, you can afford a lot of that because you can move around the map easier because they're faster and all that. Protoss doesn't have that luxury. They don't have that speed. They have Blink Stalkers, which are pretty darn fast, which are pretty awesome for that. They have Phoenix, which kind of do that, but they're not really useful otherwise, you know, so it's kind of like, what do I really do with this? Lift up some guys, which is good. You can use it as a good play, but you gotta be careful. Gotta be careful. Alright, so we do have a Colossus coming out here. Yeah, he's teched up super hard here, and that's pretty good, but you just gotta be careful. Got to be very, very careful. So, well, Terran's coming out now. A couple of ghosts in here. He's actually looking like a pretty mean, aggressive army here. And those Immortals are not going to help you all that much. Nor will the Sentry. If the ghosts get off good EMPs, we'll see if they do or not. Alright, let's go into 1x speed so I can see this battle properly. And yeah, I'm continuing to check XSplit to see that it's working properly just to make sure. I can't believe I did that, so I apologize, you guys. Alright, so Terran looking like he's okay, scanned it, saying okay, I can't really get in there. Too many Colossus. And so yeah, this is a really nice timing for Colossus and for this expansion. But once again, I don't know, I can't stress this enough. If you didn't see your opponent, if you didn't know he was going for an expansion at that time, you cannot do that play. So anybody that's watching that's Protoss that's not Robotic Soul, be careful. Do not just like do it. You know, that's like the #1 mistake of players. They see a pro player do something, but they don't understand why they're doing it. So they just do it, and then they think, oh, you know, like, why isn't this working? Pro players do it all the time. It's like, it worked because of what your opponent's doing. It's just very reactionary instead of just doing it type of thing. So, got to be careful. Alright, so Terran, what's he doing? He's getting up another star port. Getting a reactor. I know command center yet. I would like to see a command center from him right now. Because actually this looks pretty darn scary. Alright, well, he's getting a command center up now, which is good. And now you're attacking, so that is like, that is just like good timing. I don't know. Yeah, you don't know about that. Well, I don't know. Maybe you saw that S3 leave. Maybe you know that there's an expansion. But yeah, it's a pretty good time to go out there. You want to be really careful about your class. You don't want to just trailing behind, because if Terran was at the watchtower, I don't know if you had a guy at the watchtower before your army got here, but if you didn't, then yeah, those classes are gonna, or your main, like your class is separate from your main tanking group of units, your Stalkers and Zealots. Is very dangerous. You could have like Marauders just run up to those classes, take them all out, or you could have Marauders run up to those Stalkers and Zealots and just take those all out. So you gotta be really careful of how you move your army around. Try to move them as one. Whoops, I hit spacebar, which apparently brought me back to your base. Alright, well, anyways, you got some forward pylons going on, which is good. Whatever you want. Even a forward pylon all the way up here, and your opponent not knowing about it. Pretty awesome. Yeah, that's almost like BM to me to see that. That's just really funny that he just doesn't even know about it. It's like right there. So yeah, I'm just gonna put this at your base. You know, it's all good. You're not gonna know about it. It's just gonna surprise you later. All right, so here you come. You have a lot of dudes. You add in a lot of Colossus and then a lot of ground units or tank units, which is what you want to be doing. Just like as Zerg, you want to be adding on your big units like your Hydralisk and then add on some Zerglings because they're produced faster. allow you to get up more stuff sooner. Yes, of course, if it's kind of trapping you out, I wouldn't worry about advance too much. I'd worry about taking out these Colossus, these Vikings. But at the same time, it's kind of like, okay, he's killed the ground force. So yeah, kill his ground force and you're gonna be good. Thing. Because you can lose all your Colossus, because I still have ground force. So right at this point, you want to be warping some guys. I'd say work on that macro. Warp in some dudes. Any kind of attack like this, you want to just keep adding on guys. You know? Okay, let's rewind slightly. Just so I can point this out a little bit more. To the initial brawl in the front of this ramp with the force fields. Yeah, okay. Okay, so right here, you just clean up these guys. So, like, retreat back here. Well, it's kind of different because you have these Vikings coming off your Colossus. You kind of do want to go in there, so actually I do agree with that. But normally, if these Vikings weren't still alive, you'd want to retreat to the pylon, add on some reinforcements, and then come in again. And then, oh, I'm adding on more reinforcements, so you run back, add on some more guys, and then come back in. What that's going to allow you to do is just have more guys and allow you to have a bigger, stronger force as one. Like, for example, if you're 4-gating, I just want to pause so it's quiet so I can explain this. If you're 4-gating, alright, so you have some units here, like let's say like a dozen units, and you attack in here. Let's say you're up against Zerg. Zerg needs to just come in here, surround you, kill them all off, and you lose. Or I mean, you come up here and you get surrounded and you lose. Or let's say let's put it this way. Let's say Zerglings go up to you, kill off some stuff, and then you just continue to attack. That's bad. What you want to do is kill off those Zerglings, run back to the pylon, add on some more units, and then attack again. You know, so that basically the idea is you don't want your small force to die and then have another small force to attack. You want to have a small force join with another small force to make a bigger force, attack. That'll dwindle down a little bit, then add on some more units to it by retreating, and then attack again. That's going to allow you to just have this giant army, and Zerg's just not going to know what to do about it. Same thing applies here. You want to just try to run back a little bit. Right now he's pulling off his SVs. When SVs or drones get pulled off, then yeah, you can just kill them off. So that's going to be pretty nice to just have a bunch of dead SVs. Yeah, here you go, warping some stuff in. And yeah, just be really careful spending your money, spending up a little bit more and all that smooth stuff. Alright, so we got a Nexus going down. It's up, very, very nice. Don't be doing that kind of pressure thing with that kind of attack. But of course, you do not have a lot of guys right now. You got to be really careful. I'd say definitely retreat sooner. Retreat sooner. Retreat sooner. I mean, yeah, you got in there, did some good damage. But the play you were kind of doing is, okay, I'm going to keep adding on guys at my pylon and just keep attacking in there and try to kill them. You didn't really do the expansion type of play. The best way to expand with this is with pressure, not all in an attack. What I'm saying here is, don't run in there and try to do as much damage as you can. Run in there with the intention of keeping every single one of your guys alive and doing as much damage as you can. Like, put your units first. Put the damage second. Don't put damage first. Put your units first. Because having those units survive means you're going to have a much bigger army. And actually right now, Terran has a good opportunity to counterattack. That opportunity is not like the biggest because he has a small force here, but I'm just saying that right now is the timing for that. And you kind of want units back there. So I mean, it's good to just like retreat. You expanded, your Nexus is finished. You're gonna have a lot more economy with all these probes running around there. And then you can have like a small force here and just gather it with an even bigger force. You're gonna have like a giant force, and then you could actually just push out again. And this force would not be big enough. Even if you had like twice as many units, your army would be even stronger than his. So that'd just be, I don't know, that's more like higher level thinking that a lot of people do not think about yet at lower leagues, and that's just gonna boost your play a lot. So anyways, let's speed this up bits. Speed this up bits. Just drop in your third. And this is pretty much what happens like when you are at a little bit higher of a level, when players do start dropping. It's kind of like, okay, I'm behind right now, I really need to start dropping. That's perfectly acceptable. That is the time for dropping, when you're behind. It's nice to drop otherwise, like try to get away with stuff, but like when you're behind, it's kind of like you have to do something to get back into the game. Dropping allows for that, so I mean that is good. I see players like in Protoss against Zerg, for example, they have like a Dark Shrine, they have used Dark Templar before, but like now that they're behind, they like really throw down the pressure with Dark Templar. really do a lot of damage with it. So it can be quite deadly to see that kind of drop or Dark Temple or whatever it is. Gotta be careful. But anyways, looks like you're doing a good job. But you're losing all your dudes, so that's not good. The biggest thing about RTS games, I don't care what RTS it is, one of the most important things is, if you are losing a battle, run. Just run. Don't think it's cowardice or anything. Just run away. You know, if you're really busy in your base, you can just tap your hotkey for units and then click your base, you know? Like, it's not going to be that bad. And then just continue on with whatever you're doing. So, I mean, it's really not bad. If you're somewhere else on the map, you can just hit your hotkey and then click on the mini-map, you know? So, I mean, it's really just hitting one hotkey and hitting the mini-map or whatever. So, it's really not that bad to retreat. You just gotta know about it. You gotta try not to look at your base too much, try to look at your army more often. And that's gonna help you play a lot better. And as Protoss, that's kind of hard because, I mean, you do have to warp in guys at your base. You gotta add on buildings at your base. So it gets a little bit easier, but... Alright, so anyways, turn advanced a little bit. Took out a pylon. Actually, both pylons that were the forward pylons. Now he's double expanding. He knows he's behind. He's got a... Well, he didn't double expand, but yeah, he's got this one already up. He's spending his money really well. He's expanding right now. He's doing actually a good job. So Protoss actually having a superior play at this point. You know, just had more guys. You know, he lost that battle, that second battle. The first battle didn't go all that well. The second battle definitely did not go well. So no, Protoss actually has a much greater unit deficit because of that. You know, if Terran had a bigger army, got to retreat during that. Then this army would have been bigger and been able to deal with this a lot easier. There's EMP, considering where the units were. Well, that's everything cleaned up. Yeah, it's a good time to just lift off. These are reinforcements. Basically, as Terran, when you're assaulting, like in any battle, I guess. I mean, even if you're Zerg or Protoss, not so much Zerg because you want to be spread out, but generally speaking, if you're adding on reinforcements and they're coming in this way, like from this direction because your base is over here, then you want to have your units retreat towards them when you're doing a stutter step or kiting or whatever you want to call it. You just want to move your army towards your reinforcements, group up with them, and then continue the attack forward. You don't want to like get yourself cornered in the back here and just lose all your guys, because that's going to suck. And it's going to take longer for your reinforcements to actually join with you than if you were over here. So Terran moved up here, and then back here, and then back here. And then this is pretty much where all of his guys died, because his elves were coming up the ramp here. I'd say just run back this way, join with where these guys were, and then you'll be pretty... just kill this off very easily. So just like movements like that, that's something that players don't really think about, but that's actually very important in any RTS game, as any race. Alright, so what is Terran doing? He's adding some more dudes, getting his +3 upgrade for his infantry. And yeah, it's Protoss. This kind of sucks. Looks like you have a ton of gas. I'd say get more gas-heavy units than not. I definitely saw that you did not put a lot of sentries. Sentries are excellent against this kind of thing. I mean, it's like these zealots, yeah, with that charge, they can run right up to their opponent. Yeah, that's awesome. That's good. The thing is, with Stim and the speed of like which everything moves and attacks at, that charge is not going to help you as much as you think, unless you get Force Field. Like, I cannot stress how good Force Field is. Like, okay, here's what you do. Well, okay, we'll just use this army ball as an example. Let's say you're coming in from this direction, or Terran's coming in from that direction, like this way. So you're over here, basically. You can Force Field like around the units like this, make a cup, and these Terran units will not be able to run away unless they come towards you. Which means your Zealots are right there, gonna be getting out some extra hits, man. It's gonna be so awesome. Because that's just a nice way to spend your gas if you do have some extra. Now, of course, you could add on some Archons. Archons, of course, are extremely gas intensive. And yeah, Archons are good. I don't know. I feel like this mix really needs some sentries. Like, you can't always afford sentries. I mean, I know, I understand that, but right now you can't, obviously. But sentries do help a lot. Yeah, I think people just don't put enough weight on them. Because force fielding is actually like one of the most important things is Protoss in my eyes, having good force fields. Second would be, or I don't know which would be first, SimCity or, let's see, what was I saying? Force fielding, yeah, SimCity force fielding, SimCity force fielding. And army movements, that's the third thing. But yeah, it looks like you got plenty of dudes going up. A SimCity, of course, is just like where you put your buildings and all that. It's not as important for, you know, against Terran as it is against Zerg. And Terran too should have some sort of SimCity against Zerg as well. Just constrict movements for Zerglings, have like a nice wall. You know, like for Protoss, it's like, okay, where do I put my cannon? Is this cannon going to be in range if a Zergling attacks this nexus at this little point? You know, type of thing. You know, so there's actually a lot to it, and it's really map dependent also. So there's a lot to think about. All right, so Terran coming in once again, gold scars. He's getting himself kind of cornered. You're doing actually a good job moving up here. I'd say move up here and then cut in like that, just so you don't have like a big stream. You have like a nice surround going. And yeah, this is actually a bad angle to move in here with your melee units. Yeah. So Terran's not actually even stutter stepping. But it looks like you're cleaning it up all right. I'm just saying it would have been better if you like moved your army so that there was like a line of units here, and then cut in this way. That'd just have like a nicer arc, you'd have a better surround. And when you're using melee units, you want a surround. That's what the idea is for melee units. That's what Zerglings are about. I'd say if I'm good at anything in terms of micro, I'd say my Zergling micro is excellent. So you don't wanna screw with me when I'm talking about this, because you don't wanna get, or you do want that surround. You want to kill off as many units as possible, have a good surround for that, and make it so it's harder for them to retreat, which is what force field would really do. So that'd help out a lot. So yeah, Terran's kind of bouncing ahead still. Just for the record, you can lay down some pressure. You know, there's some, you know, Protoss players don't do this enough. Throw down a pylon over here. You know, like throw it down like in the mid game, like at like 15 minutes. Throw down a pylon just here, like randomly. It'll seem really random, and Terran might spot it and kill it off. If that happens, so what? The idea is you can lay down pressure here. Now, of course, this is a planetary fortress, so I mean, kind of choose what you can. I mean, you could just put some stalkers back here and just attack these SVs. And what's Terran going to do about it? He would have to load some guys into some medevacs and drop them in his own base, or go all the way around. You know, like that would suck. So I mean, you're going to get plenty of SCV kills during all that, or 9 mining time. So either way, you're going to be feeling pretty good. You can do the same thing with a warp prism. Pylon is just maybe a little bit cheaper. You can keep it there and just have some vision in a spot. You can just like have it down here, and then like you know for sure that he has his base if you see this refinery taken, you know, that type of thing. Because I mean, Terran is going to be just floating command centers to a new base, and that's going to be their new base. And you're not going to be able to attack it, because if you move your army up here, what happens? Terran's going to counterattack you, hit this base, his base will be gone, he'll hit this base will be gone, and you'll be screwed. So that's not going to be a good idea. So you really just want to try to harass it with whatever you got. You know, Dark Templar does help, but at the same time, players know what to expect with the Dark Templar if they put up missile turrets and all that, so you do got to be careful. Now, if you are using a Void Prism, do not try to like just like put it here, land it here, and then warp in guys. It's just going to die. There's more than likely going to be a missile turret here, so don't do it. What you want to do is like at the edge, like over there, or maybe over here, or something like that. You know, around the edges where Terran's not going to see you. And then you walk up here, you see, oh, it's planetary fortress. Alright, I'm just going to go around to the back and do some damage that way. So, there is all that. So Terran taking the gold. I do not like this expansion because he's going for mech. I mean, he's going for infantry. If he was going mech, it would have been good. But with infantry, not so good. He's got to be careful. But at the same time, he has been keeping the Protoss numbers low. So in that regard, I'd say it is a good expansion. He's got to be really careful defending it. So he does have a lot of bunkers, which is good as well. Of course, Colossus can. He's no way bunkers. You can't do anything about it. But that's why you got these Vikings. So it's actually okay once again. So it's like, okay, this is good because of this. That's, but it's actually bad because of that. But actually, since my opponent did that, it's actually good again. And then it's kind of like a weird kind of thing to think about. But that's what, you know, that's actually what you want to be thinking about when you're making that kind of analysis on your own plays. What's good about it? What's bad about it? Try to think of every little thing that is good and every little thing that's bad about it, and try to weigh the consequences. And that's how you just make really good plays, just thinking about it like that. and then maybe later down the line you realize something you didn't before, and then like you change your plane. Yeah, that's part of the magic, man. It's part of the magic. So this game's pretty much wrapped up. Terran's gonna be busting in here in a moment. Actually, a big drop, it looks like. Yeah, that's the nice thing about Terran. You can just keep dropping like this. Say, hey, you know what? You're gonna drop this part. Okay. I mean, you're gonna, you know, expand here. Okay. I got plenty of units. I'll just drop some here. And of course, Protoss Robotic Soul being very smart, counterattacking during that drop. Because he did kind of go too far with that drop. He brought way too many guys to kill it off as fast as possible, and that's not really good. Just 2 guys is fine. Now if he's split up like both his medevacs and put some back here, some here, that would have been awesome. If you loaded up into all his medevacs, if you split them up, that would have been far stronger. Don't worry about managing them. They'll manage themselves. They'll just kill stuff off. If they die, they die. But yeah, that's how you get better at dropping it. You start it off like that, and then, you know, if you have time to go back to them and tend to them, pick them up if you can. But at this point in the game, if Protoss has a big army here because he wants to defend all of his bases, which is what's going to happen, a drop here is going to be awesome. Thinking about all these gateways he's not going to have anymore. Like taking out this Templar Archives, this what's it called, the Robotics Bay, and these 2 forges. Even if it was just that, or even just like 1 or 2 of these buildings. Think about it. He's not going to have any more High Templar. He's not going to have any more Colossus. He's not going to have some good upgrades for later on. That's going to be huge. So just drop. You know. Same thing with Protoss. I mean, the only thing is, with Protoss, or yeah, against Terran, his units actually come out of these buildings instead of warped off the field. So I mean, you do have to worry about those units. So it's not going to work as well, but it's still going to work. So there's that. So anyways, that's pretty much going to wrap up the show. I am going to go back and redo that one replay. I can't believe I did that. So I don't know if you guys have any questions. I'm sure I lost a ton of viewers because of that mishap. But if you have any questions, now's the time to ask. Ask. I don't care if it's a Zerg question, a Terran question, or a Protoss question. Just ask me something. Just do it. Anything at all. Well, while you guys think of some, I'm going to be loading up the next replay and redoing it. So, and actually close my door because my roommate's going to be home soon and I don't want to close it while in the middle of a replay. Whoops, apparently I didn't quit out of this one yet. I'm too busy drinking my water. So really, no questions? I mean, I guess I don't have a ton of viewers, but any questions at all would be okay. Alright, 1 second, I'm gonna close the door and I'll be back in 30, 10, no, like 5 seconds, so yeah. Alright, now to cast that, or analyze that replay that I screwed up. It was like almost done too, I can't believe it. Alright, loading it up. Let's see. Overlays still up. Alright, overlays removed. Hooray! Alright, so we got Zimfar. He spawned as our Protoss player at the bottom western position here. Is our red Protoss. And our viewer today is Brotoss playing a mean Terran. Not gonna be Protoss, just gonna be Terran. It's okay, man. We feel for you. We feel for you. If you don't like Protoss, you like Terran, but your name is Brotoss, so be it. Whatever. It's all good. So let's speed this up a little bit. I did make note that you use the minimap to move some of your units around, like early on. That's good. Like just moving SCVs, like you scout with it. I'll go to your view right now. Just alright, so that is the. What's it gonna do? He's gonna make barracks. Alright, awesome. Speed up the time full. Alright, so I noticed that you just didn't, you know, move your screen to where your SCV was going, which is really good. That's what you want to be doing. I just want to point it out for everyone else. The next thing on my list is Marine Macro. Your Marine Macro did kind of slip a little bit later down the road. Overall, I thought your play was decent, pretty good. Just little minor tweaks that would definitely help you out. But when I say your play, I actually am talking more or less your macro and like when you get stuff early on. I'm not so worried about the late game. You know, of course, that is something you want to plan for, but you know, that you just have a good start on your macro. So I mean, don't worry about it quite as much. Maybe you want to work towards something else a little bit more, like your marine macro. Well, your marine macro is all right now. Oops. Make sure I'm on your view. Yeah, I don't have a lot to say early on because it's pretty good. Alright, I like your play. You got your 2 racks going, got your command center going up. Add on a 3rd rack's awesome. You know, you don't want to really be like throwing on a command center and then going straight for a factory. It's like, okay, I'm just going to die because I don't have enough units. So I'm glad you're adding on a bunch of barracks and a bunch of units. So, alright, so he scouts you, he sees the expansion going up, he throws an expansion of his own, I believe, in a minute, maybe? No? Okay, whatever. So, what do? You continue on building whatever you want, which is always a good rockin' feeling. So, command center's finished, you get the orbital up, and you get your add-ons. Alright, so you got the bunker going, good, you got your marines, alright, so you're going to be perfectly safe. You scouted, you know that there is not going to be like any huge attack early on. Actually, you don't know because he is kind of going all in. He does have 3-gate robotics, which is like an all-in tech play. Not really. I mean, I would say it is against Zerg. Against Terran, not so much, but since you did expand, you just got to be really careful as Protoss as what you do. Generally speaking, you throw on a command center when you lay down this pressure with these units and whatever comes out of this. And that's going to help a lot. But let's see what he does. Alright, back to your review for all this good cheesy, well not cheesy, I shouldn't say cheesy on StarCraft. I was saying cheesy because cheesy is delicious, but yeah, it's not cheesy in StarCraft respect, you know. Alright, so you had a guy out there checking for the expansion, very good, very nice, very good scouting.
Research.
Yeah, add some walls in. You know, when you need the supply depot, you don't like try to make a ton of supply depots and make it so you don't have like any units because you're adding on supply depots. Very nice, very good. Something I talked about in my last 2 episodes. All right, so now that you have the expansion up, I'd say, well, you added on some buildings for production. I'd say you added them on a little bit sooner. I mean, maybe your macro just slipped and you're just not producing on these buildings. So the time is probably fine. Looks like it's actually fine because you just spent it, but you just gotta be careful. You don't want to get too many minerals. You want to get those production buildings at a good time. All right, so you got a bunch of Marines and Marauders. I bet a good strong push or a strong force of stuff. Alright, so you're getting the +1, the stim, and well, you have the concussive shells already, you have the combat shields already, very nice. Preparing for a drop, very good. I don't know, I would say maybe you want to split these 2 up, even. Well, I mean, of course you want maybe 2 or like 4 Marines and 2 Marauders per medevac, instead of doing all medevac, or all Marauders in one and all Marines in another. But what you want to do is maybe split them up, attack from 2 different angles. You're going to attack up here, take out some power lines and stuff, and just time it so that you have another medevac down here. Maybe you want to load it up sooner, and just like get it around the map here. Or maybe just have like a Marine at each watchtower, you know, like see if you can control the watchtowers, and you can just cut through the middle here, and then you can drop over here. Like you can time it out so like you get a first drop here. Does he have any buildings there? Actually, he has a big force there because he saw the drop. So like if you saw this, you'd retreat obviously, but the idea is, okay, he has a big force here. Okay, I'm going to drop back here, kill some probes off. He moves his big force over there. Okay, I'm going to drop here then, and retreat from this location. So you just keep like harassing from like different spots. He's going to be forced to split up. When that happens, of course, just get out of there. You know, you already did a little bit of damage, sort of thing. Because I mean, how many Protoss players actually want to keep all their units split up? Like, who puts like a couple Stalkers here, a couple Stalkers here, and then have like a bunch of guys up here? Like, you're not going to have enough for that. Like, if you get attacked with a big force in the front here, you're going to be screwed. which is why Protoss has this watchtower. Then you're able to do that. Then you're able to put, split up like that. But if you don't have this watchtower, you can't exactly do that. Because, I mean, otherwise a big force ends up in your base, in your fronts, and you just die. So, you're just kind of like forcing your opponent to move a certain way. Like, you're making your opponent dance your rhythm. And if he's dancing your rhythm, you're going to be in a good shape. So, with that in mind, you did a good job taking out the guy at the watchtower and then retreating. I would say maybe even just leave a guy at the watchtower. Like, what's one Marine? One Marine's not really going to set you back that much. I mean, I'd say one Marine's definitely worth having that watchtower. Just like he's thinking one probe's worth it. One Marine's like the same thing, except you're not cutting production, you're cutting units. So it looks like you're doing a good job on your SVs compared to his probe, so very good on nuts. I'd say you can get up this expansion sooner. It's at a pretty good time, definitely a really good time. I'd say, like, if you wanted to get it a little bit more crisp, try to get it a little bit sooner. That's going to allow you to get more units, and then since you're expanding, you can add on some production buildings and power up, cut units like slightly. Assuming that you have this watchtower, you want this watchtower, that's very crucial. Have this watchtower, because then you can cut units. And then when you see them coming out, then you can say, okay, I can't cut any more units, I need to start producing guys right now. And then move your army into position into whatever you want. Like right here, I don't know if that's the best spot to engage, like on this ramp. Since you are going Marines and Marauders, you're going to have a bigger force. He's going to have a smaller, more compact, stronger force. So you want to have more space than he has. So like if he was at the ramp, then yeah, that'd be okay for you. But if he was down here and you like engaged and you were at the ramp, this is not a wide enough spot. So I mean that's not very good. And you might have to engage there if you put like Colossus here or something like that. It's just kind of like one of those things that happens. But yeah, you have expanded again, very good. And now you have a ton of money, a ton of food, so you don't have to worry about producing units. I'd just say add on more production than you have, so very good on that. And I'd say even get up another base. Like these are going to be drying out pretty soon. Just get up another base. You have the money for it, might as well do it right away. Then it's done already. You don't have to worry about it. Just move some SVs over. All that good stuff. So, anyways, Protoss coming out of his hole now. And, well, the SVs have been transferred before the Protoss got there. Very good. Yeah. So. Oh, yeah, I remember saying you want to maybe... let's back it up slightly. Alright, so last time I was talking about, when I screwed this up, you did a very good job with this. You went and killed off some Colossus, but their Colossus started retreating, or, these guys came forward, so you retreated back. And now you have your big force engaged while the Colossus are back here, which is good. And all the Colossus are up in fronts again, so I need to pull back and put my Vikings back attacking these Colossus. Very good. That was excellent. I like that a lot. Got some good EPs. Even on the Colossus, that was like really excellent. So that actually went really well. The one thing I would say is when you have a big force like this against his force can be more compact. You want to spread out more. So you want guys here and here to make this like concave shape, this like bowl around him, as much as possible. So I mean, if you're attacking in there, right now I'm saying that like you're good enough to maybe try this here and there. Just have some units here, like 1A in there, right? And that'll like make a nice concave. But if you want to make the concave faster to make your guys stronger, you can take half and just like move them here, like click the move button. Select all your guys, and when they're like in that kind of general area, then 1A once again. Whoops. And that'll just like get a nice concave for you. And you can stim during all that too, to move them faster. And that's just gonna like be awesome. That's gonna make it harder for Protoss to force field you, first of all. Second of all, Colossus will have a harder time with that, because your units won't be so much in a group. I mean, with that, like a couple of units of yours in that concave, in that circular concave will be killed off. So those Colossus that sweep back and forth, there's laser, it's not going to get as many units, type of thing. So it's good like that, and then you got your Zealots and things will actually do, Zealots will do a little bit better, but if you're kiting and stuff like that, then it's actually really good, so I don't even worry about that. Archons going to do less because the splash will be less, stuff like that. So there's actually a lot to it. It's actually really good. If you have time. Now, of course, macro and stuff is always more important, so don't even worry about it. But yeah, I'm saying right now you're at the point where you can worry about it, and that'll help you get better. Just start doing drops. Right now, the more bases your opponent has, the stronger drops are going to be, the more awesome they're going to be. I'm not saying like put your medevac here and drop your units here. That's bad because he's probably going to have a cannon there, and that medevac's probably going to die before it even gets there. What you want to do is like go on the outside as much as possible and then drop like here. And you don't have to look back at those units. Like if you don't have time to, don't look back at those units. But you're going to be able to kill off some probes here, and they'll just automatically move around and kill off stuff. And you can stem them if you have them hotkeyed and all that good stuff. And then if you want, you can try multiple drops, drop some back here and all that good stuff. So it's going to be awesome. And you're going to love doing it. You're going to be like, wow, he's killing off all this stuff. You know, like it's going to feel awesome. And then you're going to get to the point where it's like, okay, I'm running into these guys who can actually defend it really well, so it's not very good anymore. So you got to find like good opportunities to drop, and that's like where it really gets like interesting. That's when StarCraft 2 really gets interesting. So I'd say you're at the point where that's going to start happening. Whoops. Yeah, you are on gold, but judging by this play, you're actually doing pretty good. Now, I don't know how you do in other circumstances. No, it's just like in this point, like your opponent's macroing up, you're macroing up. You've taken a lot of bases, which is awesome. Now, of course, in certain situations where you don't want to do that. So, I mean, you have to give me another replay and I'll help you out with that kind of thing. But for now, you're doing a good job with what you're doing. So try to do more. That's all. So, okay, you did do a drop back here. Very good. You're taking out this Nexus. You want to try to get your medevac and your units out of there if you can. But whatever. You know, you lost some guys. No big deal. Taking out these robotics would be pretty awesome. Taking out just a couple of pylons. Even just taking out these cannons would be good. Take out the cannons and you can drop even more often. You know, it's kind of like you're removing the defense so you can do it more. And that's going to be super, super fantastic. Fantastic. Alright, so Protoss is expanding once again. You're attacking the frontier. I'm not sure what that was all. Oh, that was probably an SV sack. Back, yeah, SV sack, which is fine since you probably have a billion mules. Or at least you should, because you have a bunch of bases. Where's the mule drop? Give me the mule drop. Where did the mules drop? There's one there. Nothing there, nothing there, nothing here. Oh man, what gives? I mean, I guess you don't really need them right now. You're just kind of saving up energy for scan and whatnot, which is fine. That's totally fine. I would say that since you do have a ton of money and you're maxed out, well, first of all, you can attack more often because you have the fast army, and you can like do more attacks here, and all that with drops. But at the same time, you can also afford a lot of defense. I mean, you have 10k minerals, 10 freaking k minerals. You're not going to just spend that right now. Like, you can just get up with a bunch of turrets and stuff for this defense. Throw it out another command center. Just throw it down, like, right here. And just get a planetary fortress. Like, just get some extra defense. You know, like, you can get, like, as other races, you can get cannons and spine crawls and all that. But it's Terran, you got to throw it on a bunker, and that costs food if you want to load it up. So, that's not very good, but just throw down some defense. You can put down some supply depots around here, even if you wanted to, if your opponent's going for a heavy Zealot type mix. I mean, just think of ways to, like, spend your money, like kind of kooky ways that like aren't really all that efficient, but since you have $1 million, like you can afford it, like just do it. Like little things like that will like save your ass like randomly one day, you know, and you'll just be like, wow, can't believe, you know, and you'll just be like, oh, that was an awesome game. I just did this and it just saved my ass, and it was just completely random, and yeah, so that's how it's gonna feel, and that's how it's gonna be. It's just gonna feel awesome. So. Alright, anyways, you got a bunch of guys out here. You got your +3/+3. And you can start working on some upgrades for your Medevacs and Vikings. And all that's Protoss only on 1-2. So yeah, Protoss is feeling pretty down at this point. You took out this base, and that sucks for him. I don't know, I wouldn't be so afraid to attack in here, to be perfectly honest, just to go in there more often. So right now, you're kind of giving them a chance to like get back into the game. I mean, doing drops and stuff, that's good. That's going to keep them. You're going to slow them down a bit with those. But right now, it's not really needed. And to be honest, like if you wanted to, like you have the money to just straight up build like 10 factories. And just go like mech, like just all of a sudden just go mech. Like you can't really just do that. Like normally you can't really just do that. But at this point in the game, like when you have Marines and Marauders, they are the fast units that die off very easily and are easily replaced, which is good. But when you're nearing the 200 food level, you kind of want stronger units. You want to replace them with stronger units that use less food but more minerals and gas. So it's like a better ratio for what you have, you know? Like, oh, you don't have that much food left, but I have a ton of minerals, so let's add on something that takes a lot of minerals and gas instead of food, type of thing. So like add on battle cruisers, like go crazy with it, you know, like add on some like crazy stuff. Get on some nukes, get some ghosts and nukes and just like nuke everything. Like, I don't know, at this point it's kind of like, okay, I can just do whatever, because you are rich, man. You are super rich. And, well, it's good, you're doing some counterattacks, you're killing off this Nexus, you're pretty much starving him out. I enjoy watching this quite a bit. So I used to do that a lot, just starve my opponent out. Now, of course, Protoss is kind of going across the map to take out this base. And that's terrible. You never want to do that, ever. You never want to do that. Protoss is just so slow, you're so fast. You can just counterattack and kill him off and win. And it'll be that easy. Like, seriously, it'll be that easy. It's like, okay, you lose a base? Okay, I just won. Alright. I do that at Zerg all the time, and that's actually... I gotta be a little bit careful because I tend to lose so many Zerglings with that counterattack, and I just don't have the money. I don't have this kind of money, so... that's why it fails. But at the same time, you do... You got the production to keep guys rolling out as much as you want. You have the money to... So yeah, go higher tech stuff. Keep attacking. But yeah, the game doesn't have to keep going on. You can just go in there and kill them, you know. Yeah, so here's the counterattack and all that good stuff. The game's gonna be over in like 2 minutes. Alright, Protoss coming in here, doing some good damage. Not like it matters. Yeah, you just won, man. So check my notes just in case. I guess, like, I mean, the other thing is just try to do things faster. I mean, I don't mean, or not really faster, but like sooner. Like add on some of these buildings a little bit sooner. Which will just help you get up more units faster. Same with this expansion, get it up faster. These expansions out here, or not that one obviously, but this one here and this one could have been faster. And actually, when you got towards like the 30-minute mark, you could have just like killed off all your SCVs and just got mules, just got like extra planetary fortresses, and just got mules and just like rained down mules on your opponent. So yeah. The idea is you don't want to look at it as you have a giant ball and he has a giant ball and when you collide he wins, because that's always going to happen because you are doing the weaker large masses of units because you're doing Marine Marauder. Just think like, okay, I can just reproduce it. Think of it as like, oh, I'm playing Zerg. I can get up a ton of bases, I can get up a ton of SCVs, I can get up a ton of Marines and Marauders. And if you're going mech, then obviously it's kind of like you're more or less playing Protoss, and you need to get bases slower, you need to get more, stuff like that. So, you gotta be careful. For Protoss, obviously he could have had High Templar and stuff like that. He could have done a lot more. It's kind of a lazy game for him, it looked like. Actually, it seemed like a lazy game overall. Kind of just happens when you play, just kind of a lazy game. But anyways, if you guys have any questions, now's the time to ask. Questions. Okay, so Skane is asking, is it better to have idle gateways? Or having a ton of gateways that are like idle and then you're able to reinforce a lot at once, or just continually use your gateways? I would say it definitely depends on the situation. Like if you're attacking, if you're attacking or defending or moving your army or whatever, you want to have your gateways constantly working. Unless you're just going to stop that attack, then it's okay to stop bursting units. When it comes to like early game, like let's say you want to do like a 6 gate all in, like off 2 bases, right? So you get your, let's say you do like a Forge Expand, and you get like a gateway, and most players add on like 2 gateways then, or maybe even 4 at a time. It's actually better to add on a bunch at a time. The reason being if you have your gateways producing units, then it's like, okay, you have one gateway making one stalker, one stalker, one stalker, one stalker, which is all right. Well, that's fine. But if you want to have more guys, what you do is you wait to produce that stalker, get a second gateway instead of that stalker, and now you're able to produce two stalkers at once. I mean, the reason is that one stalker that you're constantly producing is delaying your second gateway. It's delaying the production of it until you can, until you have enough plus the stalkers. So if you know that you're going to be getting an increase in income, then you can just add on a bunch of gateways at once, and you actually will have more units. I hope that makes sense. If that doesn't make sense, you could ask me to clarify a little bit more. Otherwise, if anybody has any more questions. Questions. I know there's 4 of you. There used to be more of you, but... Oh, okay, so you are Brotos. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I apologize for really screwing up your replay, man. I feel horrible because I did it so much last week. Like, I did it, like... Let's see, last Sunday, I casted, like, 3 games beforehand. I had the overlay up the entire time. And then I did my analysis, and I had the overlay up, like... 3 out of 6 games. So like I was like, oh my god, I cannot believe I did this. Like right when I'm trying to take off with this, trying to get a lot of viewers, and like I'm just screwing up like crazy. So I actually ended up just redoing the analysis last week. Right after I realized I screwed up. It was like an hour in. I was like, oh man, I gotta start redoing these. So I redid them right then and there, and it turned out all right. And I even screwed up one later on, so like it was bad. So I was glad to see that I didn't screw up like any except for yours. And you just watched Nada. Yeah, okay, that's fair. That's fair. Now that's pretty awesome to watch. I'm trying to make my analysis a little bit more entertaining. It seems to get really dry, and I think most of it is because I get tired after a while. So I mean, I'm gonna try to step that up a bit. And hopefully just casting more and analyzing more will just get my voice ready for it so that I can just talk more. Thanks, man. Thanks. But yeah, every Sunday I'll be doing this. I mean, I pretty much go over a lot of the similar stuff. So I see it again and again and again. So I want to try to... I might do like a base for it, like a fundamentals thing. I did kind of like a fundamentals last week. Before the show, I just went and delved into like some stuff that, or actually no, I was going to, and then I forgot I screwed up with the overlay, so I actually ended up not doing it. But I will be doing more of those kind of on my spare time. Maybe I'll do one tomorrow. I don't know if I have time. I have a lot going on tomorrow as well. So without further ado, tune in next Sunday. Generally speaking, I do like to do casts before this, just to get my voice warmed up, first of all. Second of all, so that my voice is just like, like my voice actually hurts right now, like my throat. So I think it's good to get my throat kind of stretched out and ready to go. So yeah. Generally speaking, I do that at like 5, or actually it'd be like 6 Eastern time. So that's like an hour and a half before the show actually starts. So I mean, if you want to watch that, you can. But yeah, the show starts, and then you get to watch all the good stuff. Alright, well, you post something on Reddit. I made a couple of posts on there already. If you post some more, that'll be awesome. It's just bringing some more people to it. And yeah. So anyways, I'm getting pretty tired, so I'm going to turn this stream off. Hope you guys enjoyed the show, and once again, I apologize, Protoss. I'm not going to screw that up anymore, hopefully. If anybody else is wondering, I'm not going to screw it up anymore. I got a bunch of replays in my email. I'm going to do them next week, Sunday. And so, yeah, this is Magic signing out.